So I heard through the grapevine that y'all wanted this twin flame video to be longer. And it's about to be longer, and bitch, I'm about to go in. Gotten a lot of emails in the last 24 hours and DMs and comments on the Instagram and YouTube and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? Majority of you guys are happy. I know that there's a sector that, you know, gets upset when things that are seemingly negative are said about the twin flame union. But I'm just here to clarify. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so here's the thing. So as most of you know, actually today, a year ago, I released my book, Motherfuck Twin Flames. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I say motherfuck the entire, you know, ethos, school of thought and things of the sort. It's just like many things in life. Things need to be clarified. You understand what I'm saying? You know, because people take things out of context and they abuse them and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing that I have to say first and foremost is I'm psychic. I wasn't aware until I was about 8, but I assume it's always been there, you know, kind of like that sock that falls between your washer and dryer, like that. But anyway, moving right along. But second or first, I'm not sure which one it is. I'm also a therapist. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing. When we're talking about twin flames, my book being called Motherfuck Twin Flames is not necessarily a euphemism, but it's a play on words. There's more important stuff in life than worrying about you uniting with somebody. Because majority of y'all who worrying about uniting with somebody, you don't know what the hell you're going to do when you get with them. You don't know your purpose. You don't know what the hell you're here for. You don't know what you're going to do with your life. You still don't like your goddamn self, but you're worrying about uniting with somebody. Why? For what? Just to say that you're with someone? Truth is, you're looking for validation, okay? Now, that's that, not everybody. It's just a little small number of people. Hopefully, that's a small number of people. But anyway, moving right along. So when we talk about my therapeutic background, I am trained and licensed to identify what abuse looks like. I don't care what type of fancy frou-frou spiritual explanation that you put behind whatever this is that y'all doing, because I don't know what the hell this is. Whatever this is that y'all doing, this is I almost was a preacher hat I'm putting on, okay? If you know God, if you know unconditional love, if you understand the author of the universe and what the hell each and every one of us is here for, you understand what I'm saying? If you understand the characteristics of your creator, you would see how distorted and disgusting and damaging that whatever this is that people are calling twin flames is and what it's doing to people. You really have to think about what you're doing. Now, if we break this down to a therapeutic aspect, if I were to pull out my DSM-5 right goddamn now, and we look at the character traits for a diagnosis, okay? And I'm using this as an illustrative thing. So if we break this down diagnosis-wise, so there's 5 traits over a span of time that a person has to consistently show over this span of time in order to qualify for a diagnosis, right? Now, if you meet these 5 traits of narcissism, would I diagnose you with anxiety? No, because you have traits of narcissism. Why the hell would I diagnose you with anxiety? That don't make no damn sense. But if we were to look at a twin flame union as a diagnosis in the DSM-5, okay, so you have to meet 5 traits in order to qualify for a twin union. If all 5 of them goddamn traits is the same goddamn traits of emotional abuse, psychological abuse, and verbal abuse, why the hell are we calling this love and saying that this is divine and that spirit is ordaining this? Where does that make sense to anyone? Is anybody else thinking about this, or is it just me? Okay? Because it doesn't make any sense. All right? Now, I understand the whole fancy frou-frou element of it. It's 2 people, and it's like, oh, karmic ties and learning lessons and them molding. How much has your twin changed? I'll wait. Okay? Since the day that you met them with your magnetic connection. How much have they changed? Are they reading about Buddhism? Are they meditating? Are they still out here hoeing? Anybody? No? Oh, okay. I'm just saying. Okay? Now, what we're talking about here, like I said yesterday, this is a trauma bond. All right? If you look back at your childhood wounds, and this is everything that my book lays out. If you look back at your childhood wounds, if you have abandonment issues, your twin probably ghosts the shit out you. You know what I'm saying? You might as well name him Casper. You know what I'm saying? And he is not friendly. He just ghosts. Okay? You know what I'm saying? For others of you, if you had a domineering or controlling parent, I bet your twin is very domineering and controlling. Your dad or mother may not have physically been there, but your twin is emotionally unavailable. That's the same thing, because in essence, it's the same thing. A person can't be emotionally available if they're gone. We have to be practical and logical about this. Everything that you give your life force energy to, it grows, it reproduces after its own kind. These relationships are not growing and reproducing. I have people that I have encountered that have been so badly damaged by these situations. And the reason why I wrote my book, to be quite honest, it was the therapist in me that was led to write that book. No, for some of y'all with these comments too, I am not upset. I am not angry. I'm a Taurus. Okay, I'm a n.node Aries. My anger is my deliverance. You feel what I'm saying? So no, I wasn't heartbroken. I'm not pining over a twin. I don't have someone that I'm waiting on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not projecting. I'm not externalizing my own experience. It's the therapist in me that was pushed to write this book and to speak out on this now, because I'm sick and tired of seeing people be hurt over this. It's pissing me off, because there are people who are in these situations where I'm watching men and women deteriorate as a person. I'm watching them be former shells of themselves that are questioning their worth, questioning their value, trying to figure out why a person who is ill-equipped to love them in the first place won't love them. And the reason why they will not leave the situation alone, the reason why they are stuck, why they are frozen, why their life and their growth ceases to progress, is because they're connected to a dead corpse of a human being that does not know spirit, that does not know growth, that does not know intuition, does not believe in a world outside of this one, that is driven by sensory desires, hashtag devil card, you know what I'm saying? Hashtag lovers in reverse, you know what I'm saying? Head over heart decision, and these little just making head decisions and not the one that's in their head. You understand? But anyway, moving right along. But people are connected with people like this. Now, once again, how I said, what you feed into, right? It's supposed to grow. But whatever you feed into is also feeding into you. And I'm watching hundreds of people feed into death. And they are slowly but surely turning into death. That's where this becomes my problem, right? Because when we talk about missions and divine purposes, my mission here is to make sure that people are online with their goddamn purpose and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. When we're talking about divine partnerships and counterparts and stuff, dog, this is not no fairy tale romance type of stuff. That's not what this is. You know what I'm saying? The whole purpose, if you want to talk about it, call it star seeds, light work. I don't care what you call it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we are individuated aspects of God. Each and every one of us here have a mission to fulfill. If there is breath in your lungs, then you have a purpose in this life. Everything that you need to know about your life and yourself lies either in your astrological chart or in your experience if you're not that good in astrology. You feel what I'm saying? So when we talk about these relationships, the only purpose that the up individual that y'all been dealing with serves, you understand what I'm saying, was to teach you about your own personal worth and value. Because the fact of the matter is, if God is trying to get to you, if God is trying to change your life, if God is trying to empower you, they are not going to connect you with a quote unquote demon. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't going to find your light in the darkness. You feel what I'm saying? You ever tried to find the light switch in the dark? How many times you hit your knee, tripped over and things of the sort? This whole shift that we're going through right now is for people to wake the hell up. You understand? What you've been experiencing is toxic love that is not real love, that is not the kind of love that spirit has for you. My disclaimer / clarifier. When we're talking about this twin flame union, my stance on it is, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. Okay? My take on what it is a divine partnership. What is a divine partnership? A divine partnership are two people that are woke. You're awakened. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to be woke or awakened? That means you understand that you are more than your goddamn body. That you're not looking for a partner to validate you. So that's number one. So as a person who's woke, another person who's woke. Two people who know their purpose. Why am I here? What is my mission? You're doing some type of exertion into the direction of what your purpose and your mission is. So then it's the thought of, well, I'm human. Humans need companionship. Humans need love. We need that communal aspect. That's how we were created. So it's the thought of, I would like to share the amazingness of that of which all is me with someone else. And I would love for someone who loves me as much as I love myself to come into my life. Now, I can tell y'all from experience, when you meet the right type of person, dog, love is not that goddamn complicated. I swear to God, on my life, it's not that complicated. You meet a person that's, hey, hello, how you doing? Oh, you like Cheez-Its? I like Cheez-Its too. You know what I'm saying? You want to go on a date or something? Yeah. Let's go eat some hot wings. Okay? You go eat hot wings. You talk about stuff. Talk about your mamas and your daddies and your brothers and your sisters and your careers and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? Then you go on date number 2. Then number 3. Number 4, number 5. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all start to feeling each other and things. You know? You start talking about where it is you see things going and where you see things not going. If this person says, I'm not about that commitment life, and you like, you know what? I'm about that commitment life. And if you're not, then it was nice to know you, sir and or madam. And you go your separate ways. You feel what I'm saying? But then if they're like, oh, I'm about that commitment life, and you're like, oh, I'm about that commitment life too, then y'all just going to start going towards commitment. It is not that damn complicated. But I'm going to tell you where all of this comes from. Everything in life reflects each other. From your relationship with spirit, your perception of spirit, from nature, us individually, us collectively, what have you. We're all reflecting each other like a mirror, right? So the God that everyone knows is Old Testament God, right? Struggle, suffer. You know what I'm saying? I sacrifice my own child. You got to die in order to be happy. We don't sacrifice ourselves. That's not what this is about. And that's what the source of the problem is. We have a distorted concept on love and God and life, thinking that, and why it's so easy for a lot of people to put up with this twin stuff, okay, is because there's a misconception that love is something to be earned, and it's not. You don't earn love. You don't prove yourself worthy to gain love. That's where this whole Old Testament concept comes in. If we talk about the Old Testament and the Bible, the Judeo-Christian perspective on Old Testament God, right? Everything was done by sanctifying, or the attempt to sanctify the spirit through the flesh, right? That's why you had sacrificing animals and fasting and all this other kind of stuff, because that was man's attempt to get closer to God, right? That's the whole premise of what religion is, right? Now, when we talk about this from the perspective of, and I have to use the Bible illustratively, but y'all already know what's up. If you look at the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, the purpose of Genesis to Malachi, which is the whole Old Testament, was to prove to mankind, right? God let us go our own way. And I'm saying this within the illustrative thing if you believe in the whole Adam and Eve garden and all that stuff, right? But we're just saying this illustratively. Even if you look at it from, you know, a metaphysical perspective, that mankind just separated itself from God, and or the Yoruba tradition, you know what I'm saying? We got Obatala over here sending out hens and stuff, and they scraping on the ground. Whatever you want to believe with your creation story, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the whole belief is mankind made the decision to separate from God, becomes humans, right? Long story short. So from Genesis to Malachi is mankind going their own way, and spirit allowing us to show ourselves how well that worked out. Not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, you go into New Testament, where the whole Christ archetype figure comes in, is by showing that mankind cannot sanctify themselves in and of themselves. You need a savior. That's what the whole premise of Christianity is. Now, again, I'm not preaching Christianity. I'm just using this illustratively to show y'all how it is our distortions on love is all jacked up. So anyway, so you have a Christ figure that comes in. That ends up becoming the change agent to where it takes that yoke or that burden off of you of attempting to be perfect, right? That attempt to try to perfect yourself so that God can love you, right? When I talk about this mirror effect, this is the same thing that human beings do with each other and do in love relationships. It's trying to perfect yourself so that someone loves you. But the lesson in all of this is to learn that you are already loved, you are already good enough, and you don't have to be anything other than what you are for someone to love you. That is my only point. With what I talk about with twins, what I talk about on my channel, that is the message I'm driving home. You're already good enough to love. You don't need to have someone treat you to teach you something. Because, dog, everything that I know spiritually, everywhere that I have grown, I didn't need no dude to treat me like to learn this. Like, where does that, why would you have to go through that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, goddamn, go on an ayahuasca retreat or something. I don't like seeing people being misled. Y'all have been asking me to speak about this for a very, very long time. You know what I'm saying? A very, very long time. I never really felt like the time was right for me to speak on it. But now it's like, it's stuff like this that bothers me, y'all. It's this whole false perception of self-sacrifice. Stop allowing people who don't know themselves to speak to you about your life. You feel what I'm saying? You got people who just as goddamn lost as anybody else that's trying to lead people the way, and they ass about to walk off a goddamn cliff. I've sat back long enough and allowed that to happen because my mentality is that's not my goddamn business. I like being in people's business, but I don't be speaking out about people's business. I just like to know the tea. I don't like to talk about the tea. I just be sitting back in the cut like, you know what I'm saying? But lately, it's been very, very heavy on my spirit. And when something starts to be heavy on me to where it starts to affect me and it starts to bother me, that's when I feel like I have to speak out on it. That's the reason why we're having this conversation now. Because I feel like things have just gotten too out of hand. And then I've watched an epic shift. You know what I'm saying? When I first got on YouTube a year ago, a lot of the people that were talking about twins aren't talking about it anymore. And the people who are talking about it were never talking about it before. And it's just the quality, well, not quality of people, but I don't know. You just have to discern who it is that you're listening to. You feel what I'm saying? Because this is so much deeper. And Twin Flames is less about romantic love and it's more about divine mission. And if you have somebody who is still trying to figure out who and what they are, what they're doing, their mission, purpose, vision, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They still don't quite know. You know, I just got into this 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like 6 months ago, I just started doing this and now I'm like a light worker and I heal. You know what I'm saying? When you got people like this who are telling you about something that's literally putting your life in danger, because that's what it is for me. From a therapeutic standpoint, and why I'm speaking out about this is because this is something that's putting your life in danger, that is pushing you people to align with someone who is bad for your health. You feel me? A person who is unhealthy for your psychological well-being, for your personal well-being, for your own self-worth. People are being thrust into these relationships because it's saying, oh, they're going to change this and that. Taking it from a therapeutic standpoint, people do not change that easily. I wish people did. For my own self, I wish that change was that easy. With every single empowerment group that I do, with every single woman that I work with, my work is making sure that women don't make the same mistakes that I did in my past. And by teaching you about life from my experience, and not just my own personal bias experience, but also from a spiritual and psychological perspective, right? So we can have some goddamn research behind this. You understand what I'm saying? And there actually is case studies on twin flames, believe it or not. Yes, there is. Moving right along. But I say all of this to say that the whole purpose of me bringing this up is because I'm tired of seeing both men and women be hurt by this. Seeing people deteriorate as human beings, seeing people lose themselves in this, because this is not love. You know what I'm saying? And I'll challenge you this. I'll even throw this out there. Define what love is. Define what love looks like. Look at your research of whether, and because over here, we do case studies as background, but we also go by divine revelations. But you tell me the divine revelations that Spirit has told you. And this is another thing that I could tell you too, because this is how, it's a little secret. So in psychology, if I want to know if cognitive behavioral therapy is a therapeutic approach, right, and what the success rate of it is, I can go into some journals, go into a little database, do some searches, pull up every single case study that talks about how CBT was used in different, situations and what the pros and cons are, what the success rate is, right? You can do the same thing for divine revelations. I wish there was a database for it, but there's not. But this is how it works. So everything that I say, that any spiritual person that hears from Spirit says, is recycled truth. Everything that I'm saying, that anyone else says that's spiritual, whether it's Ayan Levan, St. Eckhart, Tolle, it don't matter who it is. We all saying the same goddamn thing. You understand? We're all saying the same thing in different ways. It's recycled truth, right? So anything that you hear someone say, and like I say, for me, I can make it easy for you, because majority of the stuff I say, and I told y'all this before, majority of the stuff that I say, you can find a scripture that aligns with probably everything I've ever said on my channel ever. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of what anyone says about any concept, spiritually, esoteric, metaphysic, Buddhist, whatever, there is going to be another ancient text that backs up that school of thought, right? Now, if you take everything it is that you know for twin flames, I task you guys to do the research, right? To do the research and to find out, and this is exactly what I did when I was researching for my book. Do the research and find out what aligns with that truth. Go look up agape love. Go look up the characteristics of God. And we could do this together if you want, goddamn. Look up the characteristics of God and see how much a twin union aligns with that. Because, of course, spirit has a signature. If we get real deep into it, talking about Nikola Tesla, the 369 principle, and the rule of three, sacred geometry, and all of that, you know what I'm saying? If we talk about that, everything that God has God's hand in, you're going to see God's signature. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like Spirit told me before, whenever they drink from your well, they turn into you, right? Meaning all of us have a divine signature. So people who watch my channel, you can tell that they watch my channel because of certain stuff I say and how I say it, that another person just, you can't vibe like that. You can't say stuff or see things that way unless you've come in contact with that person. And not just with me, I'm saying that with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have our own sacred signature, right? So if you think about what the sacred signature of God is, look for that in your life. Look for that in your partnerships. Look for that in your relationships. If a man is supposed to love you like God loves you, if a woman is supposed to love you like God loves you, your relationship now, the relationships you've been in, do they love you like God loves you? I'm just saying. If you're not even sure what that is, if you're not even sure how God loves people or what love is, how love looks, or what your definition of love is, love doesn't hurt, I can tell you that. Well, pain is guaranteed, but suffering is optional because you choose to suffer. Pain is something that we're always going to get. You know what I'm saying? But as far as being on the downside of things, having people use you, having people abuse you, having people take advantage of you, that's not a part of this program that we're on. That's not a part of light work, star seeding, spiritual work, or whatever it is that y'all calling it these days. I just call it being myself, you being yourself. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but whatever it is you're calling it, it's taking time to see where you see God in your life and what it is that you're subscribing to. Because, like I said, I'm practical as hell. What would be the point of that? That's my only question. What's the point? What is spirit getting out of you? For real. What is spirit getting out of you? How is this person leaving you and coming back? How is that helping you heal? You know what I'm saying? If I cut your arm open right now and I kept putting salt in your wound and spitting in it, am I helping it heal? Everything reflects each other. If twin flame unions are about you healing your wounds, let's talk about real wounds. Because saying that it's about helping you heal your wounds, what we're talking about is soul wounds, intangible wounds, right? But we're using real wounds as a metaphor for inner wounds. So if we're using it as a metaphor, that means it's one and the same. So that means I can say wound, physical, cut, right? And I mean inner wound. So if I cut your arm open and I spit in it, I put salt in it, I pour bleach on it, and I'm doing this consistently. Whenever it starts to heal, I rip the scab off, I put more salt in it, spit in it again, take and put some dirt on it. I go down to Bourbon Street, get a cup of Bourbon Street water and pour Bourbon Street water all over that wound. Is that helping you heal? I mean, honestly, let's be real. Is that going to help your wound heal? How would I help your wound heal? First off, I cut your arm open. I'm for that, okay? I'm just down bad. First of all, I feel like you shouldn't even talk to me because I had no goddamn business cutting your arm open. You understand? But that's neither here nor there. You're just a forgiving person, okay? So I didn't cut your arm open. I'm going to put pressure on the wound if it's deep. You know what I'm saying? If you need stitches, I need to take you to the hospital, get you some stitches. You know what I'm saying? If it's not that deep, we need to, rinse it out. You know what I'm saying? Put a little antiseptic on it, like my grandma used to say, a little Robitussin, put a little tussin on it. Don't do that because she from the country, y'all. Don't listen to my grandma. Anyway, we're going to rinse it out, put some little antiseptic on it. We're going to put a little neosporin. We're going to put a little Band-Aid on it. We're going to let it heal. We got to make sure it gets some air. You know what I'm saying? I am going to help you heal your wound, right? If I caused you pain, right? That's the least I can do, right? Now, I would need to have some sense of knowledge on wound care in order to do that. Meaning that either I got to be a nurse or a doctor, or I've cut my own arm in this way before. And this way that I worked to heal my wound, I can use my life experience, even though I'm not, licensed, I'm not no doctor or nothing, but I can use my life experience to help you heal your wound based on what I know from my experience. That's what you're talking about on a partner level, right? Now, if I'm wounded, okay, but I got a little bit of sense because I'm a little woke, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm connected with a person who is not even spiritual at all, that thinks that they're human, is reacting from survival instinct. You know what I'm saying? I got to get you before I get me, on top of them being wounded. Okay? We talking about this person cutting your arm. And this person spitting, putting Bourbon Street water and dirt and salt in your wound. And we're calling that healing. How exactly are they helping you heal? When y'all are in separation, how is it that y'all are growing? You got one person who's binge watching YouTube videos, that's reading buku books, taking seminars, you know what I'm saying, getting readings, going to see their therapist. And you got the other one out here just doing stuff, you know? Now, the people that I'm talking about, I'm not talking about two spiritual people. I'm not talking about two people who are woke. You know what I'm saying? Like you and the person you call your twin flame, both of y'all are actively spiritual. I'm not talking about these people, okay? Because that's a whole different thing. Because if you have two people who are awakened and who are spiritual and who love themselves, they don't treat each other like that. They just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about those people who have had a person, a twin who's treated them like, it's like even as this person has treated you, you still could never fathom treating them how they've treated you. That says something about you being the spiritual one. So when we talk about people changing, right, even from a therapeutic aspect, we talk about people changing. That's not something that happens overnight. Some of us, y'all in y'all 20s, y'all in y'all 30s. Some of y'all in y'all 40s, 50s, and 60s. And we're talking about a person who has a lifetime of trauma that's never been to a therapist, has never had any form of healing, and you think they just going to change overnight. It don't work like that. You can have a divine revelation, and I even say this like in the church. You know what I'm saying? You can go find Jesus, go down for altar call. You got the pastor pop you on your forehead and things. You might have a divine revelation and catch the Holy Ghost, but that's not going to undo all that trauma that you've been through for all them years. That's got to work through. You know what I'm saying? It took you 30-something years to get messed up like it is now. It's not going to take you 30-something years to get unmessed up, but it's going to take some years. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to relearn. You have to undo yourself on every level. So this is where I'm telling y'all to be realistic. It's like God is practical. You feel what I'm saying? And I've told y'all this before. If the Lord won't bless you with money, you find $100 on the ground, that $100 did not just materialize from the ethers. Somebody dropped that. So somebody is $100 short on their rent money. But you got $100 though. You feel what I'm saying? We live in a realm of exchange. In order for any of us to get something, we're self-contained here. Somebody has to give away in order to get. That's the way the exchange works. So if you talk about a person changing, and this is where I say psychology is so important, you have to understand human beings and how they work and understand this. We're not dealing in a realm of magic fancifulness. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from a spiritual person. You know, as much as I wish I could snap my finger and people could change, dog, as a therapist, looking at people who come into my office in pain, struggling, you understand? Struggling. People who come to me, and it makes me emotional, God damn it. People who come to me where I wish I could just take their pain away. I wish I could just take the burden off of them, but I can't. I wish I could just snap my finger and it's like, poof, pow, surprise, you're healed. You know what I'm saying? Won't see you next week because all you need is one session with me, babe. You know what I'm saying? I literally wish I could do that, but I can't. But the thing is, I can't take people's pain away. I wish I could. I wish I could snap my fingers and all of my clients instantly could just be healed. Every single person who watches my YouTube, if I could just snap my finger and y'all could be healed. I wish. But it's a process. Just like everything in life. Just like the seasons. You know what I'm saying? Just like the day. Everything works in a process. So all of this I'm saying is for the sole purpose of you guys understanding that when it comes to partnerships like this, you have to ground yourself and be realistic of what it is that you're dealing with. Okay? People don't just change overnight. You sacrificing yourself for the benefit of another person is not going to make them change. I'm not saying to stop believing in twin flames or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, however long that you've been in this union, look at your life. That's just all I'm saying. Just use yourself as a schematic. Look at your life and see from the day before you met this person till now how better or worse your life is. For some of y'all, and I know this from working with people, for some of you guys, things have gotten better because some of you guys have gotten into tarot because of twin flames. You found a spiritual community. You found a support group. You found spiritual leaders. And these are situations you would have never found yourself in other than for being in this partnership. Those things are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? In my ethos, twin flames prepare you for divine partnerships because that's when it shifts. You're with a person who treats you like right? You realize, oh, I deserve better than this. You cut that person off. And then the person you're really supposed to be with shows up. And then everything that you gave that person, now you meet someone who had a relationship just like you. And because both of you know what it's like to not be appreciated, you're able to come together and appreciate each other. And that's easy. That's all I have to say about that.